The neon signs of the outer rim bar flickered in shades of purple and green, casting strange shadows across the faces of a dozen different species. Most were traders, some were drifters, a few were soldiers trying to forget. Mira sat alone at the far end of the counter, nursing a drink that tasted like burnt metal and regret. She wore civilian clothes, nothing fancy, just a worn jacket and dark pants. Her hair was tied back, her eyes were tired. She looked like every other human in the galaxy. Small, weak, forgettable. That was the point. 3 Kalthari soldiers entered the bar with the kind of swagger that came from winning too many battles. Their exoskeletons gleamed under the dim lights, blue and silver plates covering their massive frames. They stood nearly 8 feet tall. Their forearms moved with casual menace. The bartender, a squat Grellian with too many eyes, stiffened. Other patrons turned away. The Kalthari owned this sector. Everyone knew it. The largest one, his rank insignia still visible on his chest plate, scanned the room. His eyes landed on Mira. He smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Brothers," he said, in Galactic standard, his voice booming across the bar. "Look what we have here. A human. Alone." The other 2 laughed. It sounded like grinding metal. Mira did not look up. She took another sip of her drink. The soldiers moved closer. The leader stopped directly behind her, so close she could smell the ozone scent of his armor's power cells. "Human," he said. "Do you know where you are?" Mira set her glass down slowly. "A bar. A Kalthari bar," he corrected. His voice dropped lower, more dangerous. "We do not like your kind here. You are weak. You are slow. You are nothing but prey pretending to be predators." One of the other soldiers laughed again. "She is probably a cleaner, or a data clerk. That is all humans are good for." The leader reached out with one massive hand and grabbed Mira's shoulder. His grip was crushing. "I asked you a question, little human. Why are you in our bar?" Mira turned her head slightly. Her voice was calm, almost bored. "I am having a drink. It is a public establishment." The grip tightened. Pain shot through her shoulder, but her expression did not change. "Public?" The Kalthari's eyes narrowed. "Nothing is public when we decide otherwise." He yanked her off the stool. Mira stumbled but did not fall. She straightened slowly, standing at barely 5.5 feet tall. The soldiers towered over her. The leader leaned down, his face inches from hers. His breath smelled like sulfur. "You should learn respect, human. Your species lost the border wars. You lost the trade disputes. You lose everything because you are weak." "Genetic trash," one of the others added. "Barely worth the resources you consume." Mira looked at each of them in turn. Her eyes were dark, unreadable. "Are you finished?" she asked quietly. The leader's face twisted with rage. His lower arms shot out, grabbing her by the jacket and lifting her off the ground. Her feet dangled in the air. "Finished?" he roared. "I have not even started, vermin." He threw her. Mira crashed into a table, splintering it into pieces. Glasses shattered. Liquid splashed across the floor. The bar went silent. She did not get up immediately. She lay there, breathing slowly, feeling the impact radiate through her ribs. The Kalthari soldiers approached, their footsteps heavy and deliberate. "That is where your kind belongs," the leader said. "On the ground. Broken." Mira pushed herself up onto her hands and knees. Blood trickled from her lip. She wiped it away with the back of her hand. "Stay down," the soldier said. It was almost a warning. "Do not make this worse." She stood up anyway. The movement was slow, deliberate. She rolled her shoulders and cracked her neck to one side, then the other. "Stupid creature," the leader muttered. He raised one of his upper arms, preparing to strike again. Mira looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time, something flickered in her eyes. It was not fear. "Last chance," she said softly. "Walk away." All 3 soldiers laughed. "Or what?" the leader asked, his voice dripping with mockery. "Will you call for help? Will you beg? Will you cry?" Mira tilted her head slightly. Her voice remained calm, but something had shifted in her tone. Something cold. "No," she said. "I will hurt you." The laughter stopped. For a moment, confusion crossed the leader's face. Then anger replaced it. "You dare threaten me?" He lunged forward, all 4 arms reaching for her. Mira moved. It was not a big movement, not dramatic. Just a simple sidestep, perfectly timed. The Kalthari's momentum carried him past her, and as he stumbled, Mira's elbow came up in a short, brutal arc. It connected with the weak joint between his chest plate and neck guard. The sound was sharp, final. The soldier's eyes went wide. He gasped, staggering backward, one hand clutching his throat. His brother stood frozen, staring. Mira straightened. She adjusted her jacket calmly, as if nothing had happened. "I warned you," she said. The second soldier roared and charged, his forearms blurred as he attacked. A flurry of strikes meant to overwhelm and crush. Mira slipped between them like water through fingers. Her movements were minimal, precise. She did not block. She redirected, guided, used his own force against him. Then she struck. Once to the knee joint. A crack echoed through the bar. Once to the solar plexus. The air left his lungs in a rush. Once to the side of the head. His eyes rolled back and he collapsed like a puppet with cut strings. The third soldier backed away, his confidence evaporating. He reached for his sidearm. Mira was faster. She closed the distance before his hand touched the weapon. Her fingers locked around his wrist and twisted. The bones snapped with a sound like breaking wood. He screamed. She did not stop. Her other hand came up, fingers rigid, and struck him in the throat. He dropped to his knees, gasping and choking. Mira stepped back. All three soldiers were down, one clutching his throat, one unconscious, one cradling his broken wrist, and trying to breathe. The bar remained silent. She looked around slowly. Every eye was on her. The bartender's multiple eyes were wide. His mouth hung open. Mira walked back to the bar and picked up her glass. Most of the drink had spilled, but a little remained. She downed it in one gulp and set the glass on the counter. "Thanks," she said to the bartender. "I will be going now." She turned toward the door. The leader, still on his knees and gasping, managed to rasp out a single word. "Who?" Mira paused. She did not turn around. For a long moment she said nothing. Then, quietly, almost to herself, she spoke. "Just a cleaner." She walked out into the night, leaving the bar in stunned silence behind her. But the leader, even through his pain, saw something as she left. A flicker of movement beneath her jacket. The edge of a tattoo on her shoulder blade. A human military insignia. Not just any insignia. The mark of Terran Special Operations Command. His blood ran cold, and in that moment, he realized a terrible truth. The human they had attacked, the small woman they had mocked and thrown across the room, was not a clerk or a cleaner. She was a ghost. A hunter, a weapon-wearing human skin, and they had just made the worst mistake of their lives. The Kalthari military outpost received the emergency transmission 17 minutes after Mira left the bar. Commander Thrak, a decorated veteran with scars across 3 of his 4 arms, listened to the stuttering report from his subordinate with growing disbelief. "Say that again," he ordered, his voice hard. "Sir, 3 of our soldiers were hospitalized. They were attacked by a human. A single human." Thrak's mandibles clicked together in thought. Impossible. Humans are not capable of defeating Kalthari warriors. Not without weapons. Not without numbers. "Sir, I saw the security footage. She moved like nothing I have ever seen. She took them down in seconds. Clean, efficient, no wasted motion." Thrak leaned forward. "She?" "Yes, sir. Female. Small by human standards. We identified her from local surveillance. Her name is Mira Cross. According to our databases, she is listed as a data analyst for a civilian shipping company." "And you believe that?" The subordinate hesitated. "Sir, one of the soldiers saw a tattoo, a military marking, Terran Special Operations." The room went cold. Thraika knew that designation. Every military commander in the sector knew it. Terran Special Operations was not like other human military units. They were not frontline soldiers or fleet officers. They were something else entirely. They were shadows, ghosts, specialists trained for impossible missions behind enemy lines, saboteurs, assassins, operators who could topple governments, eliminate targets, and vanish without a trace. And they were never, ever alone. "Pull all surveillance data from the bar and surrounding area," Thrak ordered immediately. "Find out where she went, and send a message to High Command. Tell them we may have a Terran operator in our sector." "Sir, should we attempt to apprehend her?" Thrak stared at his subordinate. "You just told me she hospitalized 3 trained soldiers without breaking a sweat. What do you think?" The subordinate swallowed hard. "Find her," Thrak continued. "But do not engage. Observe only. If she is here, there is a reason. And I want to know what it is." Hours later, Mira sat in a cheap hotel room on the edge of the station. The walls were thin. The bed was hard. The air smelled like recycled oxygen and cleaning chemicals. She did not care. She sat on the edge of the bed, staring at a small datapad in her hands. On the screen was a photograph. A young man, human, with bright eyes and an easy smile. Her brother, Lieutenant David Cross, killed in action 6 months ago during a supposed training accident on this very station. But it was not an accident. Mira knew the truth. She had spent months digging through classified reports, bribing informants, and piecing together fragments of evidence. Her brother had discovered something. Something the Kalthari did not want discovered, and they had silenced him. Now, she was here. Undercover, patient, waiting, but tonight had complicated things. Her comm unit buzzed softly. She picked it up. "Cross." Her voice was flat. "Mira." The voice on the other end belonged to Captain Hayes, her commanding officer. He sounded tired. "What the hell happened tonight?" "I was made," Mira said simply. 3 Kalthari soldiers. They pushed too hard. I had no choice." "Damn it, Mira. You were supposed to stay invisible. They threw me across the room. What did you want me to do? Die quietly?" Hayes sighed. "You know what this means? They will be looking for you now. Your cover is blown." "I know." "Then you need to extract now. We will send a ship." "No." "Silence." "Mira." "I am close, Captain. I found a contact who worked with David. He is meeting me tomorrow night. If I leave now, we lose everything. If you stay, you might die." Mira's jaw tightened. "Then I die. But I am not leaving. Not until I finish this." Hayes was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was softer. "He was my friend too, Mira. I want justice for David, but not at the cost of losing you." "You are not losing me," Mira said. "You are letting me do my job." Another pause. Then, reluctantly, Hayes spoke. 48 hours. That is all I can give you. After that, I am pulling you out, whether you like it or not." "Understood." The line went dead. Mira set the comm unit down and returned her gaze to the photograph. Her brother's smile stared back at her. "Almost there, David," she whispered. "Almost there." The next evening, Mira arrived at the designated meeting point. It was an old cargo bay, abandoned and forgotten. Perfect for a clandestine meeting. Her contact was supposed to be alone. He was not. Mira saw the ambush the moment she stepped through the door. 12 Kalthari soldiers, fully armed and armored, positioned around the bay. Commander Thrak stood in the center, his 4 arms crossed. "Miss Cross," he said, his voice echoing in the empty space. "Or should I call you Sergeant Cross? Or perhaps something else entirely?" Mira stopped walking. She did not reach for a weapon. She simply stood there, calm and still. "I was hoping for a conversation," she said evenly. "This seems excessive. You hospitalized 3 of my men. You are an undercover operative from Terran Special Operations. And you have been conducting an unauthorized investigation into classified Kalthari military operations." Thrak's eyes narrowed. "I would say this is precisely the right amount of excessive." "Then you know why I am here?" "Your brother," Thrak said. "Yes, we know. His death was unfortunate." "His murder," Mira corrected, her voice cold. "You mean his murder?" Thrak did not deny it. He discovered things he should not have. He asked questions that had no safe answers. He was given a chance to walk away. He refused. "So you killed him?" "We protected our interests." Mira's hands clenched into fists. "He was a good man, a good soldier. He deserved better." "Perhaps," Thrak said. "But that changes nothing. You cannot win this, Sergeant. You are alone. Outnumbered. Outgunned. Your mission is over." Mira looked at each soldier in turn. Then she looked back at Thrak, and she smiled. It was not a happy smile. "You are right about one thing," she said softly. "I am not alone." Thrak frowned. "What?" The lights went out. For 3 seconds, the cargo bay was plunged into absolute darkness. Then the sounds began. Muffled impacts. Startled shouts. The clatter of weapons hitting the floor. When the lights came back on, 8 of the 12 soldiers were unconscious. The remaining 4 were on their knees, hands behind their heads, disarmed. And surrounding them were 6 figures dressed in black tactical gear, their faces hidden behind helmets. Each bore the insignia of Terran Special Operations. Mira's team. Commander Thrax stared in shock, his forearms slowly lowered. One of the operators stepped forward and removed his helmet. It was Captain Hayes. He looked at Thrax with cold, professional eyes. "Commander Thrax," Hayes said, "you are under arrest for the murder of Lieutenant David Cross and 17 other violations of interstellar law. You will be extradited to Earth for trial." Thrax's mandibles clicked rapidly. You have no authority here." "Actually," Mira said, stepping forward, "we do. My brother was not just investigating Kalthari operations. He discovered that your command has been running illegal weapons shipments through neutral space. Smuggling, bribery, extortion. All documented. All verified." She pulled out a data chip and held it up. "And all admissible in court." Thrax's face darkened. "You cannot prove any of this." "We already have," Hayes said. "Your own encrypted communications, financial records, testimony from informants." "It is over, Commander." For a long moment, Thrax said nothing. Then, slowly, he lowered his head. Two operators moved forward and secured him in restraints. As they led him away, Thrax looked back at Mira. "Your brother. He fought at the end. He did not beg. He did not break." Mira met his eyes. "I know. He would be proud of you." Mira did not respond. She simply watched as the Kalthari commander was escorted out of the cargo bay. Captain Hayes approached her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You did good, Mira. David would be proud." "I know," she said quietly. Then, after a pause, "But it does not bring him back." "No, it does not. But it gives him justice. That is something." Mira nodded slowly. She looked down at the data chip in her hand, the evidence that had cost her brother his life and nearly cost her own. "Yeah," she whispered. "It is something." 2 days later, Mira returned to the bar. The same bar where everything had started. The bartender recognized her immediately. His multiple eyes widened, and he nearly dropped the glass he was cleaning. Mira slid onto the same stool. "Whatever you have. On tap." The bartender hesitated, then poured her a drink with shaking hands. He set it down in front of her carefully, as if afraid she might explode. "On the house," he stammered. Mira raised an eyebrow. "Appreciate it." She took a sip. It still tasted like burnt metal and regret. "Perfect." The bartender leaned in slightly, his voice low. The soldiers, the ones you fought, they are saying you are some kind of ghost, a nightmare. They are terrified." Mira set her glass down. "Good. Is it true that you are special forces?" She did not answer immediately. She took another sip of her drink, letting the silence stretch. Then, finally, she spoke. "Just a cleaner," she said with a small, dangerous smile. The bartender nodded quickly and backed away. Mira sat alone at the bar, nursing her drink, her brother's photograph tucked safely in her jacket pocket. And in the shadows of the outer rim, among traders and drifters and soldiers trying to forget, a new legend began to spread. A legend of a small human woman. Quiet. Forgettable. Until you made the mistake of underestimating her. And by then it was far too late.